This might be the first time you will ever see a game dev video on this topic. But here's what I always do when I start the production of a new game. Like really the first thing before I start anything else. I might even seem a little crazy to you, but I always start designing my games by designing the button. Here's the idea. If you can capture the entire personality of your game in only a single button, you can put the same personality into basically anything. I see it as a challenge and try to ask myself, what would the button look like in the world of my game? What colors does it have? How does it react when you touch it? Is there a little wiggle? Is the button maybe happy if you lay your fingers on it? And what happens if you press it? What does it sound like? Does the sound throw you into an 80s horror movie? Or does the button make you taste some fresh strawberries on the tip of your tongue?
Strawberries.
After all, a button might be the first thing the players see when entering our game. It is our first chance as game devs to drag them into our experience. And we don't want them to endure the disgusting sight of the Unity default button, am I right? So, after all the talking, I can show you now that I'm not just a crazy maniac who keeps licking on buttons to discover the flavor.
Strawberries.
In Paperplay VR, we decided against having a classic video game interface, where you have all the buttons on a flat plane and activate them by pressing a button on your controller, like other virtual reality games have it. The hands as well as the interface are naturally made of cardboard. The button has a spring which flicks it back into position. We used a Unity joint here for the physics, and the artist created a great 3D model with bones attached to the base and to the interactable part, that would allow for some wiggly movements. One of the key characteristics of Paperplay VR is maximum interactivity. So our button can not only be pressed down, but actually it can be moved and dragged around however you like it. For the hovering state, like when you lay your fingers on the button, I added a colorful outline shader as well as a short vibration. Another very important decision is the font of the button. In any artistic kind of project, you should never go with one of the default fonts. And if you really think Arial and Comic Sans are the best fonts out there, please just get out of here. It takes no time to scroll through the massive amount of fonts out there. It does not even take effort. I just wanted some kind of scribble font and searched for a scribble font, and after seconds I fell in love with a font called Scribble. And jackpot, it's an open source font. We will probably design our own font at some point, but for now this one already adds so much character to the game. Let's get to the sound of the button. It should be something simple, but still memorable. It should capture the personality of the game, but not be overdone. After all, the players will hear this sound a lot, and they should never be annoyed by pressing buttons. In the end we decided on this sound.
Clack. Clack.
Wow, so satisfying. Accordingly, we also designed other UI elements after the example of the button. And we also gave these UI elements similar sounds. By now, you can easily see how we did not just create a button in this devlog. We created a design guideline that can be applied to basically anything, just like I said in the beginning.
You can put the same personality into basically anything.
Clack.
Lastly, and this is just an Easter egg, I figured out something funny. In Unity, you can assign a breaking value to any joint, which means that the joint will break when too much force is applied. Yep, you get it. You can break the buttons in Paperplay VR. You ask, what happens to your interface if you break them? Well, you can't use them anymore and are stuck in the game forever. What did you expect, you aggressive bully? After some testing, we found out that it was actually a bad idea to take the control from our players, so we decided that you can still press the spring of the button after the top is gone. Now let's not forget about the most important part. In Unity you can create a prefab of any object. That means when you build your scene, instead of just duplicating objects, you can spawn various versions of the prefab. Those will all be derived from a single blueprint of our perfect creation. And when you change the blueprint, all the instances in the entire game will inherit these changes. Even if we have taken all the time to create the button, just like with every other asset, it will probably never be perfect. We will want to make changes to shared properties of all the existing buttons, like when we create a new font or a new sound. And when we make these changes, we do not want to touch every single button in our game separately, which will be hundreds at some point. Even if I have put so much effort into creating the button, I know that this is not even close to perfect. And that actually means I just created some button. But this interface is heading in a great direction, and for now I am happy. If you want to see another great example of a button, then you can have a look at the subscribe button on our channel. It even has some bell that you can ring when you have pressed it, so check out how satisfying that feels.
Clack 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 clack.